Well, I already made a mistake with my reading because hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and it's the start of the 24-hour readathon. I normally don't have any plans on these days and I literally just dedicate it to chilling out and reading. I do sleep because I can't be without my sleep, but it's just a nice day to just relax, rest, and don't have any plans. It's like a nice little reset, and it also means that I get to tackle my TBR, which is the theme for this readathon. I always do an announcement video for these, so I'll have that linked below in case you're interested. But today's slightly different because I actually do have a plan and I've got to go and get a psych test done, is what it is. I couldn't have it any other time, so I had to fit it in, and it does need doing, so there is going to be a little bit of a break where I won't be reading much. This is where if I liked audiobooks it would be really handy because then I could listen to an audiobook on my way, but I don't have any, so that's not going to happen. But I do have 4 physical books that I would like to try and get to. I don't think it's going to happen for all 4, but we'll quickly go through what they are and then I'll tell you the 2 that I am prioritising for today. Oh, I should also let you know that it is 8:27, so probably by the time I've stopped talking it's going to be 8:30 when I get to reading. So I do always have a short book and a manga. These are the 2 that I think I'm not going to get to today. We have Blue Exorcist, which I don't really know too much what this one is about. I think we're following a main character who is the son of a devil. Seems like a fun one. I had it ages ago, never actually got around to reading it. This is volume 1. And then I also have Jane Austen's The Beautiful Cassandra, which is a collection of short stories that she wrote for the entertainment of her family. Both of these would be really easy to read today and I would like to get to them, but the other 2 books are where I would like to put my priority because these are the 2 that I'm the most excited to read. So if I could get these done, I would say that this readathon is a success. So, first of all, we have The Voyage of the Basilisk, a memoir by Lady Trent, and this is by Marie Brennan. This is the 2nd book in the Natural History of Dragons series, and I have not shut up about this series since I read the first book last year. I adored it so much. I love the setting, I love our character that we're following. I like the fact that this is Lady Trent looking back on her life and you're seeing the exploration into dragons. She is a naturalist and that's not seen as a womanly pursuit because during this time it's kind of set almost like a Jane Austen setting, so you have those sort of sensibilities that our main character has to play to. However, she chooses not to do this. She disregards what social expectations are and instead goes off looking for dragons, and I really loved it, as I've said already, and if you've been following me for a little while you would know that I have not stopped talking about this series. So I'm so excited to finally continue on with the 2nd book. This one, let me see how many pages it is because this is the one that I desperately want to finish. It's 365 pages long. I think it's doable because of how much I love this book. Like, okay, I don't know if I love this book because I haven't read it, but how much I loved the first book, and I have such high expectations. Like, I actually have pretty much the rest of the series because I enjoy these books. Okay, enjoyed the first book so much that I was like, yeah, that's it, I'm going to get the rest. And normally I don't do that. Normally I would just get the next book in a series. So that way if I'm not enjoying it anymore, I don't waste my money buying the rest. But I was like, nope, I love this, and bought all of them. Although, to be fair, Naomi did gift me one of those, so thank you very much. But yeah, anyway, loving this. This is a high priority, and I'm probably going to start off with this one because that's all I've been thinking about. Ever since I set the TBR for this, it's been, I can't wait to read this book. And I like how I'm matching, like blue, love it. And then the other book that I would like to read, which I'm going to break up Voyage of the Basilisk with, is The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood, and this is a book that's been on a couple of TBRs, or at least as an option for a TBR read. It's a Greek myth retelling focusing on Penelope, who is the wife of Odysseus, who went to the Battle of Troy and then got waylaid, and you've got the Odyssey that's based on his journey back home that took an extra 10 years. And this is Penelope's version of what happened during that time that she was waiting and the things that she had to do to outsmart people. I'm really excited. I love my Greek myths, and this is a shorter one, so I think it's going to be a nice one to break up the reading. So I am going to be going between the two, and this one is 196 pages. So that's the plan today. If I can get these two books read, I will be so happy. If I manage to get in some of the others, then I will. I probably will take this little one out with me. That way, if I'm waiting for my sight test and stuff, I can read at least a little bit of this, potentially even like coffee shop lunch afterwards. I don't know, we'll see, but that's the one that I'll take out with me. So I'm hoping the only one I won't get round to for a change is actually the manga, but we will see. Right now I'm just all thoughts focused on starting this book. My appointment isn't till 11:25, so I've got a good hour and a bit reading time before I need to start getting ready to go out. That sounds really good. I just can't wait. This is going to be so good. So plan is breakfast and reading this, and then I'll probably update you just before I go out with how far I got and my initial thoughts, but I am predicting that this is going to be a new favourite read because I love this book so much. But let me know if you're taking part and what you've been reading, if you've read any of these. Let me know all those details, but I will catch up with you in a couple hours. Well, I already made a mistake with my reading because I said to you that Voyage of the Basilisk was the second book in the series, and it's not. This is the third. For some reason I had it in the wrong order on my bookshelf, and I'm pretty sure even in the announcement video for this readathon I said that I was reading this one. I don't know why. I will have to check that, but yeah, this is the third one. So as much as I am matching this cover beautifully, this is the wrong book. But I did actually start reading this one, and I got in, not far in, I think I got about 20 pages in, and I'm so engrossed straight away, absolutely loving it. But it was just a couple of things that made me go, is this the right one? And then I checked, because there's nothing on them to signify whether this is the second book or third book in a series. Honestly, that can get a bit frustrating. And I went to check on the listing at the front, and it doesn't really say it there because it's missing. So because of the way they do this, they have the first book and then they have the other books in the series, but the book that you're reading isn't listed. So I then had to get A Natural History of Dragons to then see what book came next, which is actually The Tropic of Serpents. I have made some progress with this one, because once I realised my mistake and then worked out what book was the second book, I then started on this one. I am now up to part 2, because these are all broken up into different parts. So I've read the first 60 pages and I'm already really enjoying it. Really do enjoy these books. This one, we're a couple years after the first book. Her son is now 2 years old, and she is just about to embark on a journey to discover some more dragons, which is where part 2 is going to take place, of them actually being on their ship. So part 1 is all about just setting the scene, the fact that she's going on this expedition. People are really unhappy with it, especially because she's leaving her son behind and saying that she's being irresponsible, which she talks about the fact that she just wasn't inclined to being a mother. Like, she found it hard to connect to him, and while yes, she loves him dearly, him being 2 years old and going to a place where it has been mentioned quite a few times that there is war brewing and a lot of political tension going on in this area, that wouldn't have been safe. And also, as she said, she did struggle with raising a child, and she left a lot of it up to a nanny because she just didn't feel well equipped. And I like the fact that it's actually looking into that and realising that, you know, not everyone is going to fall into the role of motherhood just because you have a child. Like, it, yeah, I found that really interesting. I liked that. And we also have her companion that's coming along the journey with her, called Natalie, and she is someone that really doesn't want to be married, but we are set, as you know, in the time when that is what was expected of women, and so her family are dead set against her going with Lady Trent, very much like, you've got loads of prospects, you know, you're going to marry, and set about actually locking her up in her house so that she can't go out with Lady Trent. But she escapes, and Lady Trent helps her hide away on the ship so that her family don't realise that she's gone with them. although they do have their suspicions, they can't find her because she's dressed up as a boy. And it's just really interesting. I find that so interesting, the fact that she's like, I have no inclinations, I don't want to be a mother, I'm not interested in the opposite sex at all. I like the explorations that we've done about all of this. So we're just setting the scene of our characters and what they're like. We've also got a bit of a theft that's gone about with a piece of theory that they're working on how to preserve dragon bones, but they've been trying to keep it very secret because they don't want then more industrialized use of dragon bones to be made known and to then have dragons become extinct as a result. So this book is already tackling quite a lot of different themes, and I really like the exploration of it all. There is also a map in here which is detailing where they are going. So this is the map of where they're going to be going. I really like that. At the start of all the books you do get a map showing what area that they are going to be exploring, and you do get illustrations in here because Lady Trent is an artist, and this is an illustration of her companion that is going with her. So yeah, I'm really excited, really loving it. Can't believe I started off on the wrong book, but it's fine. It is now 10 o'clock on the dot, so I'm going to start getting ready to go to my sight test appointment. I also want to drop off a couple things at the charity shop on my way there, so I'm going to do that, and then I will probably update when I get back and if I did manage to read anything while I'm out. I'm really undecided because I think I want to come back and have a soup for lunch, so I think I'm just going to pop out for the sight test and then come back. I'll still bring a little book just in case, but I think it's going to be more that I pop back, get back to reading and decide whether I want to read a bit more of this and then read the Penelope. I don't know, because this book is 340-ish pages. They're all around the same length for this series, which is quite nice. So I don't know whether to get to about 120 pages in or something like that, the closest chapter to that, and then start the Penelopiad and read half of that, because that's only 200 pages, and then go back to this, read another third, and then go back to the Penelopiad, and then I don't know. I don't know why I have this obsession with planning out my reading, but I do. But I'm also going to see where the mood takes me, because I have a feeling that I'm not going to want to put this book down because I do really enjoy these books. But yeah, I cannot believe I picked up the third book thinking it was the second, and it was only because there was such a disparity between the years, between the first book and then what was taking place here, that I was a bit like, that doesn't seem right, and that's what made me check. But off to a good start. I'm really enjoying it, really happy with the book that I've chosen, even if it was the wrong order, but I'm very happy with it all. But yeah, okay, I need to stop rambling, I need to get myself ready and go off for this sight test, so catch up with you soon. I might even film choosing glasses if I need to choose a new pair, but we'll see. Okay, it is now 2:10 and I am back from going out for my sight test. Loved trying on all the glasses and stuff. I took a couple clips. It was so much fun. I actually ended up going for something so much bolder than what I thought I would, but yeah, love that. Also, is this zoomed in? This is zoomed in. There we go. That's a bit better. I also had some lunch and I've now read a little bit more. Not much, to be fair. I'm up to chapter 6. Page 79, so I only read a little bit with lunch, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to put this down and pick up the Penelopiad and see how far I get into that one. I'm loving this book though. I do just want to sit down and read it all, but I also know that I prefer swapping out books because I like to sit with my thoughts. So that's how I deal with a 24-hour readathon and not wanting to binge read a full book in one sitting. I mean, I've done it a couple times, but I also know that I prefer to just sit with my thoughts, which I've said. But yeah, so that was fun. I had a good time. It was nice going back because I used to work there, so it was really fun to meet everyone. And honestly, this readathon, I don't know what it is, but today I've just got so much energy. I kind of don't want to sit still and like read, but I'm enjoying it when I am sitting and reading because I'm enjoying the book that I'm reading. But I have no more plans for today. It's literally going to be sit down, chill, read, and potentially do some cooking. Well, definitely do some cooking because I need to eat. So we're going to do that. But yeah, we're going to see how much I actually get read. I don't know, I feel like it's going to be a fail of readathon because I'm feeling so energized and wanting to do stuff. But you never know, I could surprise myself. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to stop talking. I don't really know what this update was really, apart from to say that I'm enjoying my book. I liked choosing glasses. They're going to be coming, but you won't see it in this video because they need to be made and everything. And so that's going to be in a later vlog when I get those. And yeah, I need to do stuff, really. That's the thing, I don't have anything to do. I just have to read and chill, and I kind of don't want to. I want to do stuff, but I don't know what I want to do either. So I'm just going to read. We're going to do that. I'm going to start the Penelope ad. I'm going to give you an update with how I find it and what I think. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Let's do that. I also feel like I say that a lot. I feel like that's how I end a lot of my clips, is like, let's go do that, or let's do that. And I'm just like, why? I don't know how else to end it though. I don't know. I just think I'm just overthinking a lot of stuff and also procrastinating, wanting to relax. I feel like that's weird. That is weird. I'm weird, and that's okay. Okay, it's now 3:30. And I feel a lot calmer for a start. I actually feel quite like tired now, and I just want to chill, and I don't really want to do much, which is great. I started the Penelope ad, as I said I was going to, and I am 99 pages in on chapter 14. It's an easy read, like it's very quick to read considering I read 99 pages in about an hour and 20 minutes-ish, so that's not bad. I don't know, I'm not fallen in love with it. Like, I really had high hopes. So this is a Greek myth retelling about Penelope, who was left behind while Odysseus was obviously off to war, which I think I mentioned already at the start of this day. I'm just not connecting with it. Like, we meet Penelope just before she marries Odysseus when she's about 15 years old, and she's telling the story from when she's already dead, so she's telling it from the underworld, and she does have quite a interesting way of talking about things. Like, it's following her thoughts, so it can seem like she'll go off on tangents at times and stuff, which I don't mind at all. Obviously, how can I moan about anyone going off on a tangent when I go on tangents all the time? So I don't mind that. Like, the storytelling aspect of this I do like. It is broken up with poems and songs, because this isn't just Penelope's story, it's also about the 12 maidens that were killed once Odysseus came back. And those 12 maidens, like the poems part of this, that seems to be more of them, although the more recent one that I sang was more about Odysseus and exploits on the return journey home from Troy. So it is interesting to get that, but I'm also finding it just a little bit boring. Like, it's not bad, but I'm not engaged. Like, I'm not gripped with it. This could definitely be a book that I could put down and not pick back up. It's not badly written at all. Yeah, I'm just not gripped. There doesn't seem to be anything happening to it that I want to be like, oh, that's really good, I really want to carry on reading. Like, the intrigue, that's the word I'm looking for. The intrigue isn't there. Writing, yes, beautifully done. There has been some really good quotes about how women were seen back then, how they were just to be bartered off for better prestige and political alliance, and you know, that's all interesting. I don't know, Penelope herself, I just, yeah, it's the intrigue. Like I said, I could go on like loads of tangents about what I think it could be, but I'm just not as interested in this story, which is a shame because I normally am interested in Greek myth retellings. I've read loads of them, and I've read ones that all talk about the same thing, like about Helen and Clytemnestra, and it doesn't bother me. But this one, it's just not capturing my attention. So I can read it, it's quick, it's easy, it's not a difficult read at all, and the different breakups between the chapters of Penelope's perspective, you'll then get a chapter of just a poem or a sea song or something like that. So it's really easy to read because of that. But I'm also not a massive poetry person, and so finding that there is so much poetry in this, I'm just kind of reading but not getting anything from it, because that's not the sort of thing that I enjoy. So that's also not helping with my enjoyment of this. I feel like if it was just Penelope's perspective, while I still wouldn't be as like fully invested in it, it wouldn't have the breakup of something that I'm just like, okay, cool, at least it's quick and easy to read and it's not taking up much of my time, which I feel like is quite bad, because those are people talk about Margaret Atwood and how good her books are and things like that, but I'm just, like I say, the writing, it's good, I'm just not connecting to it, so that's a shame. But I am gonna put it on hold for a minute. I'm actually debating whether I go back to Tropical Serpents, because I know I am enjoying this one a lot, but I'm also feeling like I want to change up the format, which is why I always have a manga on my TBR, which I honestly did say at the start of this that this wasn't a priority for me, and it's not, but I am feeling like a change up in format, because it's just pictures and text, and it's nice to break up reading blocks of text with something like this. So I might do that, or I might maybe read 2 or 3 more chapters of Tropical Serpents and then do that. I think that would be a good idea. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do these 2. I don't know what order yet. I'm just going to see what takes my fancy, but it is a shame about the Penelope ad, because I really wanted to love it, but I'm just not connecting to it at all. But also I need a change of pace, like I need something that I'm more invested and interested, which is why I'm also thinking maybe the manga first then, because Tropic of Serpents, as much as I'm loving it, it is a bit slow at the minute, because it's just setting up everything, and we've arrived at this palace and there's a lot of like court and political intrigue that's going to be going on, and I really want to get to like the dragons part of this, but I feel like this may be a little bit slow, so I might get a little bit into that lethargy of not wanting to read, whereas at least the manga is a different pace. It's going to be a little bit more action and just give me that, like I say, change of pace of a read, so I might prefer that. I don't know. I'm saying all this, and I know logically that's a good idea, but we'll see. See what happens. Okay, it's now 4:20, well, 4:22 if we're being precise, and I did decide to read the manga, as we saw. So I went with Blue Exorcist Volume 1, and it was okay. I don't think it's going to be a manga that I continue on with. We're following a main character who is a demon, doesn't realise he's a demon, he's part demon, part human, he's been raised by an exorcist, and he has a twin brother who is completely human. He then finds out that he is demon, he is the son of Satan, and decides that actually he wants to be an exorcist because the person that raised him has died. Turns out his brother is already an exorcist, and those two are going to go around demon slaying together. It is fun. I'll give it that. It is quite an entertaining read, very fast, as I expect manga to be. But yeah, I don't know, I don't think it's going to be one I continue on with. As much as I want to be the person that reads manga and can really enjoy it, manga really isn't something I gravitate towards. It's something that I like to pick up during these 24-hour readathons as a way to break up my reading. I really do prefer the other ones that I've tried, which is, there's ones that's Sherlock Holmes, that's based on Professor Moriarty. I like those, so I'm going to continue on with that. And also The Promised Neverland I really enjoy. I have made quite a bit of progress with Tokyo Ghoul, but I am starting to get a bit bored of it. So I don't know, there's still a couple that I haven't read the first one of, I think. Or is there just one? There might just be one. No, there's 2. I went through a phase of buying loads of the first volumes just to give myself a try of different mangas, but I don't think they're really for me. They're fine for a nice little light thing, but they are expensive, and I don't want to read them on my phone. And Blue Exorcist, as much as it was fun, I think somebody else would enjoy this series much more, and I can't see myself going out and buying more of them. So yeah, I'm not gonna continue with this series, but it was good. It did exactly what I needed. I feel ready to actually pick up Tropical Serpents and get back into that reading mood. It was nice to have a bit of a change up. Also, my mum went shopping and she showed me her books that she got from Waterstones. Honestly, she got a couple that I really am intrigued by. One that I already own that I'm interested in reading, and another one that's an author we've both read of, but I haven't read the next book. But she also got me this. Look. This is a bookmark, and it's a unicorn that has glasses on. It's so freaking cute. I love it. I think it's absolutely adorable. So that is now going to be my new bookmark for whatever book. But I love it. I think it's so cool. It's so different. That is that. that I'm very happy with. So thank you very much, Mum, because she watches every single one of my videos. So thank you very much. And yeah, I think I'm going to get back to Tropical Serpents, read this for maybe an hour or so, and then go do some dinner. So I think that's the plan. Good evening, it's almost 7 o'clock and I've made a little bit of progress but not much. I did spend the last hour cooking and eating, so didn't do loads of reading then. I have only focused on the Tropical Serpents though, so I'm now up to page 138. I am really enjoying this one. I am kind of, literally just thought of it now, tempted to put it down and finish the Penelopiad, because that way that's 2 books finished. This readathon hasn't been as, I can't think of the right word, fulfilling, insert word here, but it hasn't been as productive, there we go, as what I thought it would be. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be much anyway from when I woke up this morning, just because one sight test had to pop out for that, and that did take a few hours of me being out and choosing glasses and stuff, and then coming back and just not quite having the energy to sit down and read. Like, I had energy to do stuff. I don't know what I'm going on about. Anyway, so it hasn't been as productive in terms of reading, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get this finished because it is already 7 o'clock. So I've probably got about 4 hours before I head to bed, to be fair. So that I could do it in that time, but I am also thinking, should I just finish off the Penelopiad? That way it's a book done, and then I can go back to this and just read to where I get to until I'm tired, and that will be it for the readathon. I don't know, we're gonna see, because in all honesty I always say I'm gonna read in the mornings, but it's very unlikely. I am gonna set my alarm for 7, so I will be getting up at that time, but I also have to get ready because me and my partner are going out tomorrow, so I have to make sure that I'm up and ready and also have time to wrap up this readathon at 8:30 when it all finishes, before I then rush out the door. So I don't think I'm going to read in the morning. Like, I rarely do on these readathons. Like, I think I've managed it once and the rest of the time I just don't. I really shouldn't really say that these are 24-hour readathons, but I feel like that's better than saying, oh, I'm going to read sort of. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm actually feeling really like chill right now, and I actually really want to get back to reading, but I am feeling like the Penelopiad because then I can just finish it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But these last few pages, we have now met the dragons, which I'm really pleased with. Only in glancing, like, this is Lady Trent doing this because she's interested in it from a very scientific viewpoint. That is why they're there. They want to document these dragons, understand what makes them tick the way they do, how do they do the things that they do, how do they fly, how do they run around and do all the things. So they learning a lot about them, like their muscular structure and things like this, which I find really interesting, but it does mean that you don't really get to interact with the dragons fully, like this is from afar. And this book is a lot more focused on the politics side of things, which you didn't really get that much of in the first book. You got a little bit but not much, and this book, because the area that they're in, it is, as I mentioned, a war-torn country, and they end up getting caught up in the politics, which I think is just about to happen here, but you can see it brewing and you learn a lot about the politics of the country. So in all honesty, I think because I love this series, I don't mind. I can also see how this would be a little bit boring to some people because it is a bit slow. Like, this isn't a book that I can say there's loads of plot to it. This is character scientific study of dragons and a memoir of Lady Trent looking back on herself, so she can seem a little bit full of herself at times, but none of that bothers me, in all honesty. I don't mind it. I just like the writing of this. I like everything about it, even though there's a lot of things in it which I can understand why some people don't like this series. But this one, I have to say, has been slower. So it is probably, if it wasn't for this readathon, I wouldn't be sat down reading as much of it as I am in one day. It would be a book that I read over a week, because this first chunk has been quite heavy with the politics. Like, it's been slow to get going to interacting with the dragons, and there has been things happening, but it's definitely a lot more on the gossip line of learning the politics. And I think now, because they're just meeting with the king, so the ruler of this country, we're now going to see what is actually going on and why they've taken such an interest in Lady Trent's little party. So I don't know, I feel like there's a lot going on. But also, I love this bookmark. It's so cute. It's lovely. I love it. I'm still enjoying this. Like, I feel really bad because I've just said loads of negative things about this book. I would rather be a bit more well-rounded rather than constantly going, oh, I love this book, because I do. I love it. But I have to point out things that I know that some people may not enjoy as much, or it could be selling points to you if you really like that sort of thing. So, yeah. I don't know, I really like it. I really am enjoying it. I like the writing, and it is a slower paced read, but I don't mind it. I'm sorry, this is what happens when I'm tired. Well, I don't tend to film much in the evenings because when I'm tired I repeat myself a lot. So editing Kirsten's gonna do her best, but that's just the realities of what it is. Okay, I don't actually know what the time is. I think it's 9 something. Let's have a quick look actually. Yeah, 9:20. I have finished the Penelope ad, and yeah, it was okay. Not my favourite read. I don't think I would reread this. There was just too much trying to go on. Like, there was a few chapters in this that I actually really liked in the second half, and that was Penelope's chapters, and it was focused on when Odysseus came back and all of that. I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed how she was tackling the suitors and things, and obviously what she got the maids to do in this version of it was, you know, really horrible and harsh, but I understand Penelope's reasonings for it, of feeling like she had no other choice. But there were parts in this that I didn't like. As we know, I didn't like the poems or songs because that's just generally not a me thing. But also there was a part in this that was like a court situation from our century, of the maids standing up in court going against Odysseus and what happened, and that just felt really out of place to me. And I feel like that's what I kind of found hard about this book, is I wish it had focused on one or the other. Like, either told this from the maid's perspective, which I think would be really interesting, or told it from Penelope's. But because we had the both mashed in, and the maid's perspective were done as songs and poems, which is explained in the back, and the reason why she did that is a callback to older text and the way they would have done things before a tragedy within a big showing, and I get it. But it just meant, for me, I couldn't quite gel with the formatting of it all. Like I say, the writing in it is really good. I like the feminism that's in here and those points that were made. I liked the perspectives that we got. I just think that the formatting for me just didn't really work, and as a result I just wasn't that interested in it. I like the concepts and ideas very much. It's just the execution didn't work for me. I have also read a tiny bit more of The Tropic of Serpents. I genuinely, every single time this makes me laugh. I love it so much. But I am now up to part 3 and we're on page 156. I really don't think I'm going to get this finished today, but I am enjoying this a lot. We have now had the accumulation of how Lady Trent and her party is going to be used in this political affair, and they are now going off into the swamps to search for a particular type of dragon, which has now been sanctioned by the king. And I am really excited because I feel like that's where all the actions that's going to come in, so that's really good. So I think it's definitely going to be fast paced from here, but I also don't think I'm going to get it finished. I am kind of tempted to pick up The Beautiful Cassandra, because that way it's another book finished, and that would be my last read before bed. And it's not long at all. It's a short little book. It's only 50 pages, so an hour sit down, and that would be quite a nice way to wind down the evening. But I also really do want to read more of this, because when I was just reading a little bit of this to get up to this point, to part 3 where I then want to do this update, I was really intrigued. I didn't want to stop reading, and I only did because I got to part 3 and I was like, okay, this is a good point to update and make this the last update of the night. Yeah, I really don't want to put it down, but I also would really love to just get another book off my to be read pile, because it is a bit ridiculous, and that's why I do these readathons, is to get that off. And because I know I'm not going to finish Tropic of Serpents today, even though I want to read more of it, do I just read the short one so that I can at least say I've ticked off 3 books from my to be read pile and started a 4th which I would then finish the rest of this week. Not sure what I'm going to end up doing. I think regardless, I'm going to like clean my teeth, get ready for bed, get into my pajamas, and then decide what I'm going to settle down with. Good morning. It is almost 8:30. So I'm going to finish the readathon here. Last night I decided not to read any more Tropic of Serpents as much as I wanted to. I did decide to go with The Beautiful Cassandra by Jane Austen, and I liked this. This is a series of short stories Jane wrote, as I mentioned, for the entertainment of her family, and they were good, they were fun, they were a bit different. You can see some of her characters in her later novels that are kind of like origins for them within this, which I really enjoyed seeing. Also, the very last one was actually quite hilarious. I'll say what it is. So it's a letter from a young lady whose feelings, being too strong for her judgment, led her into the commission of errors which her heart disapproved. And it's literally this woman that admits to murder and fraud and all sorts, and it's hilarious. And it ends with, I am now going to murder my sister. Okay then, but that was definitely a lot more fun, and that's what these were. It was just a fun exploration. There is actually spelling mistakes in here because they kept it to the originals of what Jane Austen originally wrote, and I just liked it. I think it was good. Is it her best works? No. But you can see, as I mentioned, the origins starting out from. So that was quite good. So altogether in this readathon, we finished 3 books. So I finished The Blue Exorcist Volume 1, The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood, and The Beautiful Cassandras by Jane Austen, which I'm really surprised because I didn't expect to get these 2 read. As I mentioned yesterday morning, they weren't a high priority, but it was really nice to actually break up the reading with them. Obviously the Penelopiad, I didn't enjoy it as much as I'd hoped. It was a shame because I was looking forward to it, and I do enjoy my Greek myths, but just couldn't quite get on with the execution of it. Blue Exorcist, fun, light-hearted, but I don't think I'm going to carry on with the series. Like, I liked it, but it's not one that I can be like, oh yeah, I'm willing to pay that price for manga for. It was okay. And considering manga is already put on the back burner, I don't need to have another series that will probably take me 5 years to actually read. And then a little black classic, which I did enjoy and it was interesting to see. And then of course I read up to part 3 of The Tropic of Serpents, which is page 129. No, that's not right. 159, I should say. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. A bit slower of a start, a lot more focus on politics in this one, but it was just fun, and I actually think that light academia is the good subgenre for this. So it's got that more studious focus on things, and instead of dark academia where you have more of the murder thriller elements to it, light academia, you're getting that academic feel to a book, but with lighter plotline and character work and stuff. Like everything, the atmosphere of it all is lighter rather than darker and grittier that you get with a dark academia book. I think I'm going to be interested in trying to find more light academia books this year and seeing if I get on with them, and then because I'm doing a dark academia video, maybe next year I'll do a light academia video. It does take me a year to make those videos because I want the time to read it all. Yeah, I think this was really good and really nice exploration of that as a subgenre, so I definitely want to look more into that. But that is where we got to. I don't know how many pages the total is. I'll put that up here somewhere. Did I get as much read as I thought I would? No, because I was really hoping to actually finish Tropic of Serpents. But I don't mind either, because at the end of the day, I had a good day. So that's what it's all about. I still got 3 books off of my TBR, so that is excellent, and I'm going to finish Tropic of Serpents this week, which will be up in my reading vlog, which will be out after this video. Or won't be the one straight after this video, but it will be out after this video. Normally the reading vlogs always come out on a Friday, so it'll be the Friday after this one. If you're interested, you can go check out my final thoughts on the Tropic of Serpents there if you want. But yeah, okay, I'm really pleased with how this all turned out. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed everything, and let me know if you took part, what you were reading, and if you didn't, that's absolutely fine. Have you read any of these books, etc, etc. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it there. For today's emoji, if you've made it this far, as always, I'm impressed, but let's leave a dragon in the comments below. I'm gonna I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment to let me know that you're here. Those 3 things are so important to helping the channel grow. I know I say it every single time, but it's really true. It really, really does help. My social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next video.